I confronted my family for their betrayal and took control of my life back. My mom's kitchen smelled like burnt sugar and stale champagne, and the whole place had that sticky, post-party feeling. Half-deflated balloons bumping the ceiling fan, paper plates piled in the sink, glitter from the table runner clinging to everyone's sleeves like a warning label. I had my car keys squeezed so hard in my fist the teeth left little dents in my palm. Mom stood in front of the back door like a bouncer, blocking the way out, her smile still painted on from the engagement photos but cracking at the edges. "Don't walk away," she said, voice low, eyes bright and sharp. My dad hovered behind her with his hands on his hips, doing that thing he does where he looks stern but won't actually step in. My sister, Alyssa, sat on the counter, swinging her heels, lipstick smudged from hugging relatives all night. Watching me like this was entertainment. And my brother, Mark, was at the table with a stack of papers spread out in front of him. My papers, my name printed on the top line, my address, my date of birth, like my whole life had been photocopied and laid out like a puzzle for them to rearrange. "We just need you to be reasonable," Mark said, tapping the page with a pen. "That's all. Sign it and stop making this bigger than it needs to be." My throat went tight, not with tears exactly, more like my body was trying to swallow a scream. I could still hear everyone laughing out front, my aunt calling goodbye, car doors slamming, the party spilling into the driveway, while my family cornered me in the kitchen like it was completely normal to ambush the reliable one after celebration. My mom tilted her head and said, "Sweet as poison, you always overreact. Don't ruin Alyssa's night." It was a Tuesday night 3 months ago when my bank app refreshed and a number I didn't recognize stared back at me like a stranger were in my face. I was sitting on my couch in leggings and an old uni hoodie, hair scraped into a knot, takeaway containers on the coffee table, because I'd promised myself I'd start cooking again next week. I just paid rent. I just transferred money into my savings like I always did, that little ritual that made me feel like I was building something stable in a world that loves to wobble. Then I saw it, $4,800 gone, sent to an account labeled ASO Services. I stared at it for a full minute, waiting for my brain to catch up. Maybe it was my insurance? Maybe it was some subscription I forgot? But my stomach already knew. My stomach always knows before my head wants to. I called the bank, fingers shaking so hard, I dropped my card twice trying to read off the number. The customer service rep was calm in that overly cheerful way, asking security questions like my life wasn't actively tilting. She confirmed the transfer. She confirmed it was authorized through my online banking, from a device logged in with a 2-factor code sent to my old phone number, the one I'd had before I switched carriers last year. The one my mom had insisted I keep on the family plan because it's cheaper and promised she'd handle until I had time to sort it. The one I'd been too tired to argue about because it had always seemed like such a small thing. Just a bill, just a convenience, just another thread tied around my wrist that I didn't notice tightening. I hung up and sat there with the phone in my lap, staring at the dark TV screen like it might show me the answer. My chest felt hot and hollow at the same time. Then my screen lit up with a text from Mom. "Hey, love. Quick question. Did you ever update your bank details for your new card? The one ending 2041? X." The weirdest part was how quickly my body went cold. Not rage first, not sobbing first. Cold, like my nervous system flipped into a mode it didn't ask permission for. I didn't reply. I didn't call. I just opened my notes app and started typing, hands moving fast. Date, time, transfer amount, the label on the transfer, the phone number the bank said the code went to. I took screenshots. I emailed them to myself. I don't even know why I did that at first. I just felt this sudden need to pin reality down before my family could blow it into smoke. Because my family's specialty isn't just lying. It's making you doubt you ever saw the truth. I've been the responsible one since I was about 13. The one who remembers permission slips and picks up the slack and doesn't ask for much. Alyssa was the sparkly one, pretty, charming, always being forgiven for the same mistakes because she cried prettily and promised she'd change. Mark was the funny one, got into trouble, talked his way out, called it a prank. My parents are the kind who loved you most when you made their lives easy. They didn't say that out loud. They didn't have to. You felt it in the way they praised you for being low maintenance. You felt it in the way your needs always came second to whoever was currently making the most noise. So I became quiet, efficient, useful. I learned that being needed was the closest thing to being valued in our house. And slowly, without me noticing, useful turned into available. Available money, available time, available energy, available identity. The first time something like this happened, it was small enough to explain away. Mom asked me for my login to a streaming service because she couldn't remember the password. Then she accidentally used my card for an online grocery order and promised she'd transfer it back. Then she asked if she could just quickly use my Afterpay account because hers had a glitch. I said yes because saying no in our family isn't just refusing a request, it's committing a crime. Saying no means you think you're better. Saying no means you're selfish. Saying no means you're making it a thing. So I kept saying yes, and every yes was a brick in a wall I didn't see being built around me. After that Tuesday night, when the bank confirmed the transfer and the code go to my old number, I called my carrier. They told me the number was still active, under my mom's account, with a spare SIM issued last month. My mouth went dry. Spotty scene. Issued last month. Like someone could just keep a copy of my access in a drawer. I didn't sleep. I sat up with my laptop open and pulled my credit report, hands sweating on the trackpad. There was a personal loan inquiry from a lender I'd never heard of. A new credit card in my name. Opened 6 weeks ago. My eyes blurred. Iskrujet, upinide mirreet. Hoping my own name would rearrange into someone else's. It didn't. I called Alyssa first because she's the one who always borrows money with a laugh. She answered like she was chewing, bright and casual. Hey, she sang. What's up? Did you open anything in my name? I asked, and my voice didn't sound like mine. It sounded flat, too calm, like my brain was trying to keep me from shattering. There was a pause, then a little laugh. What? No. Alyssa, I said, I'm looking at my credit report. Another pause, longer. I heard her inhale like she was preparing to act offended. Are you accusing me of something? I'm asking, I said. Because I have a loan inquiry and a card I didn't apply for. She sighed dramatically. Oh my God. Okay. First of all, calm down. Second of all, Mom said she would handle it. That sentence, Mom said she would handle it, hit me like a slap because it was so casual, so normal in her mouth. Like this was something we all did. Like it wasn't my name, my future, my financial life. Handle what? I asked. Alyssa lowered her voice, like she was letting me in on a secret instead of confessing to fraud. My business needed cash flow, she said. It's temporary. Mom said you'd freak out, so she didn't tell you until it was sorted. It's literally fine. I couldn't breathe for a second. The room felt too small. You used my identity, I said slowly, like saying it in plain words might make it real enough for her to hear. Don't be dramatic, she snapped immediately. We're family. It's not like we stole from a stranger. I hung up because if I didn't, I was going to scream something I couldn't take back. Then I called my mom. She answered on the first ring, cheerful. Hi, love. Are you okay? You sound. Did you take money from my account? I cut in, and my voice shook now. I hated that. I hated giving her that tremble like a gift. There was a beat of silence, and then she switched in her calm voice, the one she uses when she's about to make you feel ridiculous. Okay, she said slowly, let's not do this on the phone. Did you? I repeated louder. Yes or no? She exhaled like I was exhausting. It was a transfer, she said. Alyssa needed help. We were going to put it back. I said. So you did. It's not what you think, she rushed, and I could hear the panic now, the edges of it. It's just you have good credit. You don't have kids. You don't have a mortgage. It was easier. There it was. The ugly heart of it. You have good credit. It was easier. You're the one who can absorb the damage. My stomach rolled. You opened loans in my name, I said. We didn't open loans, she corrected immediately, like semantics could sanitize it. We applied. It's different. I laughed, one sharp, disbelieving bark that startled even me. No, I said. It's not different. That's identity fraud, Mom. Don't say that, she snapped, and her voice went tight, angry. You're making it sound criminal. It is criminal, I said, and my hands were shaking so badly I had to grip the edge of my table. She went quiet for a second, then took the familiar road. "After everything I've done for you," she said, voice wobbling into tears on command. "I raised you. I fed you. Mom," I said, harsh. "Stop. This isn't about groceries when I was 12. This is about you stealing my financial identity." "You're being cruel," she whispered, and I could already hear her gearing up to tell herself she was the victim. I hung up. After that, I did the unthinkable, at least in my family. I didn't rush to fix it for them. I didn't agree to keep it in the family. I didn't accept vague promises. I didn't take their word. I froze my credit. I changed my passwords. I removed my old number from everything I could. I opened a brand new bank account at a different institution and moved my pay there. I called the lender and reported the application as fraudulent. I filed a report through the proper channels. Not because I wanted to destroy them, because I wanted my life back. Because I wasn't going to carry this like a secret bruise to protect people who were willing to carve into me. The first time I heard my mom say, "How could you do this to us?" I actually felt my brain short-circuit. Like, how could I do this to you? You did it to me. But that's the magic trick of my family. They hand you the knife, stab you with it, and then cry because you got blood on the carpet. For weeks, they tried every tactic. Alyssa showed up at my apartment with mascara tears and a dramatic speech about how I was ruining her future. Mark sent long voice notes about family loyalty. My dad called once, voice low and disappointed, and said, "You're tearing the family apart." I sat on my couch with the phone pressed to my ear and felt something inside me go very still again. The same click I'd felt looking at that transfer on Tuesday night. "No," I said. "You tore it apart when you decided my name was a resource." He went silent like he didn't have a script for that. Then came the invitation to Alyssa's engagement party. Big backyard celebration at my parents' place. Lots of family, lots of photos, lots of champagne, lots of performative happiness. My mom texted, "I know things have been tense, but this isn't about you. Please come. Don't embarrass us." I stared at that message for a long time. Not because I wanted to go, because I knew what it meant. Come, smile, and let us pretend nothing happened. Let us paint you as the dramatic one while we keep the real story hidden. A part of me wanted to not go, to protect my peace. But another part of me, the part Pop would have called my backbone, was tired of being edited out of my own life. So I went, not to cause a scene, to stop being held hostage by it. I spent the week before the party gathering everything, not like a cartoon villain, but like someone who'd been gaslit long enough to know that memory isn't enough. Screenshots of the bank transfer, notes from phone calls, the credit report, the emails confirming fraudulent activity, the carrier statement showing the duplicate SIM. I printed some of it. I saved it in a folder on my phone. I told my best friend where I was going and asked her to be on standby. I wore a simple dress and flat sandals because I knew I might need to walk away fast. And now, in the kitchen with the papers on the table and my mom blocking the door, it all came crashing together. "Sign," Mark repeated, tapping the page. "This agreement says you won't pursue anything. It says we'll pay you back in installments. It protects Alyssa." I stared at the word release in bold and felt nausea rise. "So you want me to sign away my right to report fraud?" I said slowly, like I was tasting the sentence. "It's not fraud," Alyssa said immediately, rolling her eyes. "Oh my God, you love that word." "It literally is," I said. Mom's face tightened. "Lower your voice," she hissed. "People can hear you." Good, I thought. Let them. I looked at the paper again and realized how carefully it was written. How much planning had gone into getting me to sign. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't a one-time, we were desperate. This was strategy. My hand stopped shaking. Not because I calmed down. Because I got angry in a clean, focused way. "You did this," I said, looking at Mom. "You printed this. You brought it out after everyone left so you could corner me." Mom's eyes flashed. "We're trying to fix it." "You're trying to protect yourselves," I corrected. Fixing it would have looked like paying it back immediately and letting me secure my identity without pressure. Dad finally stepped in, voice sharp. "What do you want? Do you want Alyssa's engagement ruined? Is that what this is?" I looked at him and felt this old ache crack open, because I had wanted his protection so badly when I was younger, and he'd always chosen quiet over courage. I want my life back, I said, and my voice broke a little on that. I want to stop waking up terrified that you've opened something else in my name. Alyssa scoffed. You're being paranoid. I pulled out my phone and opened my folder, thumb steady. Am I said, and I turned the screen toward her. Bank transfer, date, time, the account name. Then the credit inquiry. Then the carrier's statement with the duplicate SIM. Each swipe was a small hammer tap on the glass version of reality they'd been trying to paint over. Mark's face changed first. Not guilt. Fear. Because he could see I had proof, and proof doesn't care about feelings. Mum's skin went pale around her mouth. Put that away, she whispered. Please. No, I said, and my voice was calm now. I'm done hiding it. Alyssa slid off the counter, suddenly alert. Why are you doing this? She demanded. I said we pay you back. Because you didn't ask, I said. You didn't even tell me. You just took. It wasn't taking, she snapped. It was borrowing. Borrowing means the other person knows, I said, and my eyes stung, but I refused to let tears do their usual job of making me seem weak in front of them. You used my identity like it belonged to you. Mum stepped toward me, hands out like she was trying to calm a wild animal. Sweetheart, she said softly, switching to her soothing voice. We made a mistake. We're sorry, but you can't go nuclear over family. I laughed again, quieter this time, bitter. You didn't make a mistake, I said. You made a choice. Over and over. Dad's jaw clenched. If you report this, he said, voice low, there will be consequences. Yes, I said. There already are. For me. Mark slammed his palm on the table. What do you want then? He snapped. Tell us what you want so we can move on. I stared at him for a long second, because that phrase, move on, was the entire family motto. Move on, meaning bury it, meaning pretend, meaning let the person harmed do the emotional labor so everyone else can stay comfortable. I want you to stop, I said. I want you to stop using me. I want you to stop calling me dramatic when I react to being harmed. I want you to stop pretending you're the victims here. Mum's eyes filled with tears. You're so ungrateful, she whispered, and there it was, the old weapon. If I wasn't obedient, I was ungrateful. I took a breath. I could feel my heart beating, steady now, like it had decided to support me instead of sabotage me. Mum, I said, I'm not ungrateful. I'm awake. The kitchen went silent except for the distant sound of someone outside laughing and the faint pop of a balloon bumping the ceiling fan. Then I did the part that felt impossible for most of my life. I moved around my mum instead of waiting for permission. I stepped toward the door. She reflexively shifted to block me again, and I stopped close enough that I could smell her perfume, familiar, suffocating. Move, I said. She blinked, shocked. Excuse me. Move. I repeated louder. I'm leaving. Dad stepped forward, angry. Don't you dare walk out. I'm walking out, I said, and I looked him straight in the eye. I'm done being trapped in conversations where you demand I sacrifice myself for your image. Alyssa's voice went high and shaky. You're ruining everything. No, I said, hand on the door handle now. You did. I'm just not carrying it anymore. Mum's face twisted with rage. If you leave, she hissed, don't come crawling back. The old version of me would have collapsed right there. Would have panicked at the idea of being cut off. Would have begged, because family was the air I'd been trained to breathe, even when it was poisonous. But I didn't panic. I felt relief. Like someone had cracked a window in a room I didn't realize was suffocating me. I'm not crawling, I said, and my voice didn't shake. I'm walking. I opened the door. Cool night air hit my face, damp and clean compared to the sugar-heavy kitchen. The backyard lights blurred for a second as my eyes adjusted, and I could see silhouettes of relatives near the gate, still chatting, still smiling. A few heads turned when the kitchen door swung open. My cousin Jenna looked over, eyebrows lifting. Mum followed me onto the patio, her voice sharp but falsely bright now, putting on her public mask. Everything's fine, she called, laughing too loudly. Leah's just tired. I stopped at the edge of the patio and turned back. I didn't shout. I didn't throw anything. I just said, clearly, so the people closest could hear, I'm leaving because you used my identity without my consent, and I won't sign anything tonight." The silence that followed was immediate, like someone had turned off the music. Conversations stopped mid-sentence. Jenna's mouth dropped open. My aunt's eyes widened. Someone actually whispered, "What?" Mum's face went blank with horror. Dad stepped out behind her, looking like he might explode. Alyssa made a small noise, half sob, half gasp, and clutched her engagement ring like it might protect her from consequences. I didn't stay to watch the ripple spread. I didn't want revenge. I wanted out. I walked to my car with my hands trembling again, not from fear of them, but from the sheer release of finally saying the truth out loud in the place they'd been keeping it buried. In my car, with the doors locked and my forehead resting on the steering wheel, I breathed like I'd been underwater for years. The next day, my phone blew up. Mum sent paragraphs about betrayal. Dad left a voicemail telling me I'd shamed the family. Alyssa posted a vague Instagram story about toxic people ruining special moments. Mark texted, "You happy now? You always have to be the victim." I didn't respond immediately. That was the other control I took back, time. I stopped jumping when they barked. I stopped treating their urgency like an emergency. Instead, I called the bank again. I filed the last pieces of paperwork. I kept my credit frozen. I asked my carrier to remove any connection to my mom's plan. I changed every password again because paranoia is just realism when your family has proven they'll cross lines. Then I booked a session with my therapist and cried until my face hurt, because even when you do the right thing, it still hurts to accept that the people who were supposed to protect you were willing to harm you for convenience. A week later, my dad asked to meet. He chose a cafe like he was conducting a business meeting. He showed up in his work shirt, sleeves rolled like he was ready to negotiate. He didn't apologize. He started with, "We need to move forward." I sipped my coffee, hands steady around the cup. "You need to," I said. "I need accountability." He frowned, irritated. "Alyssa is distraught. You embarrassed her." I stared at him. "Alyssa committed fraud," I said. "Why is her embarrassment bigger than what she did?" His jaw tightened. "You don't understand pressure," he snapped, and I almost laughed because pressure was my entire childhood. Pressure to be easy. Pressure to be quiet. Pressure to carry what they didn't want to. "I understand pressure," I said. "I just don't accept it as an excuse anymore." He leaned forward, voice low. "If you pursue this," he warned, "your relationship with your mother will never recover." I looked at him, really looked at him. The man who'd watched my mom manage me like a resource, who'd let my siblings take without asking, who'd only stepped in when the truth threatened the family's public image. And something inside me softened in a sad way. "Dad," I said quietly, "my relationship with Mom already didn't exist the way you think it does. It existed as long as I stayed useful." He stared at me, and for the first time, I think he didn't know what to say. "I'm not trying to destroy you," I added. "I'm trying to stop being destroyed." He sat back, breathing hard through his nose. "What do you want?" he asked again, but less aggressive this time, like he was finally listening. I thought about it carefully. Not what I wanted in a fantasy. What I wanted in reality. "I want repayment," I said. "In full. Not installments that keep me tied to you for years. I want written confirmation that you've closed anything opened in my name. I want you to stop accessing my accounts. And I want you to stop asking me to carry the consequences of Alyssa's choices." He blinked. "That's a lot." "It's basic," I said. "It's basic respect." He stared down at the table, and I could see the battle happening behind his eyes. Pride versus reality, image versus truth. Finally, he said, "Your mother will never admit she was wrong." "I know," I said. "That's why I'm not negotiating with her anymore." I left that cafe feeling shaky but oddly light. Because even if nothing changed on their side, something had changed on mine. I had stopped asking the wrong people for permission to protect myself. Over the next month, the fallout kept coming in waves. Some relatives messaged me privately, awkward but sympathetic. Jenna called and said, "I had no idea," and her voice sounded genuinely horrified. My aunt, the same one who'd been laughing at the party, texted, "If you need a place to stay for a bit, my door is open." That almost made me cry more than the betrayal did, because kindness from the edges of the family felt like air after years underground. Mom, predictably doubled down. She told people I was unstable. She told people I was punishing Alyssa out of jealousy. She told people I was always dramatic. It was the same old story, just louder. But this time, the story didn't stick the same way because I didn't play my part. I didn't chase it. I didn't beg people to understand me. I just kept living in the facts. The facts that I had proof. The facts that I had a frozen credit profile now. The facts that I had a new bank account. The facts that I wasn't available for manipulation. And then something quietly beautiful happened. The space where my family's chaos used to live started filling with my own life. I stopped dreading my phone buzzing. I started cooking again, not perfect meal prep, just normal food that didn't taste like survival. I took walks without headphones and let myself think. I redecorated my apartment slowly, choosing things I liked instead of things that made me seem mature enough for my parents' approval. I started saying no to small things too, because I realized my family trained me to see no as violence when it's actually a boundary. One night, about 2 months after the party, Alyssa showed up at my door alone. No mom, no dad, no entourage. Just her, in a hoodie, eyes puffy like she'd been crying for real, not the glamorous kind. I didn't let her in right away. I stood in the doorway, chain still on, and said, "What do you want?" She swallowed hard. "I didn't think it would get this far," she whispered. I felt my chest tighten, but I kept my voice calm. "It got this far the moment you decided my name was yours to use." She flinched. "Mom said you'd forgive me," she said, like forgiveness was a vending machine you could kick until it dropped what you wanted. "I might," I said honestly, "eventually. But forgiveness doesn't mean access. And it doesn't erase consequences." Her eyes filled. "I was scared," she said. The business was failing. I didn't know what else to do. I stared at her and thought about all the times I'd been scared and still didn't steal someone's identity. "I get being scared," I said. "I don't get choosing me as the cost." She cried quietly then, shoulders shaking, and for a second I saw my little sister under all the entitlement. Just a messy human who'd been taught by our parents that the world would bend for her if she pushed hard enough. "I'm sorry," she whispered. I believed she meant it in that moment. I also knew her sorry didn't rebuild my credit score, or undo the sleepless nights, or erase the way my own mother had looked me in the face and called theft easier. "I accept that you're sorry," I said, "but I'm not going back to how it was." She nodded, tears dripping off her chin. "Mom says you're dead to her," she said, voice small. I felt that old punch of fear try to rise, and then it passed through me like a wave that didn't find anything to hook onto. "Okay," I said softly. Alyssa stared at me. That's it, I said, because I'm not negotiating my safety anymore." When I closed the door, I slid down against it and cried. Not because I miss my mom's control, but because letting go still hurts even when you're letting go of something that hurts you. I don't know if this ends with a neat reconciliation. Real life doesn't do neat. Mom might cling to her story forever. Dad might keep trying to bargain. Alyssa might grow up, or she might find a new person to drain. Mark might pretend he was caught in the middle, like he didn't print the papers. But here's what I know. I took control back the moment I stopped signing away my reality to keep their peace. My family's betrayal wasn't just the money. It was the assumption underneath it that I would always fold, that I would always absorb, that I would always keep the secret so they could keep their image clean. I didn't outsmart them with some genius move. I confronted them with truth and boundaries and consequences, and I kept my hands on my own life even when they tried to pry them off. And the strange part is, the more I stopped chasing their approval, the more I started feeling like a person again. Not a role, not a resource, not the one who can handle it. Just me. Finally.